gonna be rich.
Hello, everybody out there in THL land. Happy Friday. Welcome to Friday Night Fights, week 2 of the new season. I'm Donde, excited to be here again with you this week. My co-caster this evening, the man I will be playing later tonight in our Pro Series match. Hopefully, it goes better than the match I played last week after the stream. Dankestad, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well, and with all due respect, Donde, I hope it doesn't.
I would expect nothing less, and I take it. I do not take it personally, so that's okay. But we are not here to talk about us tonight. We are here to talk about the two fantastic matches that we have tonight, which are both from Hero Series and both from the same game. It's going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Squirtles versus F2L Obsidian. They are going to be it's going to be Righteous Jammies versus Dr. Fish in the first half tonight, followed up by S Slayer versus Pokemon 661 in the nightcap. So let's talk about our first series here, since obviously we are going to be starting this one up very shortly. Interesting set of classes, ones that I'm sure we're going to see all across THL this week. In the first post-nerf meta week of THL, we've got Demon Hunter, Druid Hunter, and not Druid Hunter, that's two different classes. Druid Hunter and Paladin for Righteous Jammies versus Demon Hunter, Paladin, Warrior for Dr. Fish. It's always a mouthful to say the Hunters back to back there, but these are, like I said, very popular classes right now. Wouldn't have expected much different. What are you thinking that we see tonight?
Well, as always in Hero, you got to keep your eye out for that sweep, and I think that there's a lot of potential. Fish bringing the Warrior, Hunter, and Demon Hunter along with the Paladin could give Jammies a chance to go for that popular Mech Paladin build that we've seen at the Masters Tour and lately in THL. There's a chance that that could come out and be a big factor, and who knows? Maybe a Control Warrior with the right tech on Fish's side can just run the table. Lots of possibilities.
Absolutely. And we do have bands in, so we can go ahead and get those up on the screen for you here in just a second. And while I do that, I'll let you kind of think your way through here what this might mean for the archetypes that we see. Not in any way unsurprising, Fish has decided to ban the Demon Hunter for Righteous Jammies,
Mm.
and Righteous Jammies has decided to ban Warrior. So interesting, might be a little afraid of like the Control Warrior, possibly expecting like a Control Warrior sweep, but they're Quest Warrior is still potent. What are you thinking here with that information?
So those bans actually are a little bit surprising to me. Looking at Fish's lineup, just on the face of it, I think that you could expect to see a target Demon Hunter lineup with stuff like Holy Paladin, Control Warrior, and Quest Hunter.
Hmm.
Like that seems like a completely reasonable thing to expect on the other side. So seeing the Demon Hunter ban means that that's probably not what's going on at all, and that we're probably going to see some different archetypes coming out. On the other side, Jammy's banning the Warrior is really interesting since Warrior traditionally in this meta has been a very strong matchup for Druid and can potentially be strong for Paladin if it is mechs. So maybe we're going to see an aggro Druid out of Jammies or something a bit surprising, but either way, should be an awesome series.
Definitely. And Agrodruid, interesting you bring that up too, because I was looking at some of the well performing Masters Tour lineups, and yes, that's Conquest, of course. It is slightly different than Last Hero Standing, where you don't have to win with every deck in your lineup, but it does kind of inform a little bit of where the competitive mindset is in this first week here, after the few nerfs that we got. So a lot of people brought Druid, but there was a significant amount of Beast Druid in the top 32. So it is certainly a valid bring, I think, here in this case, if
Oh,
that is what we see.
and if you can get Warrior off the table, it can Beast Druid can really fight with the best of the aggro decks, except maybe for Demon Hunter. So I think that if Jammies did it, could be a great bring, and I think there is a good chance he can squeeze out a win there.
All right. Well, we'll have to see. And just as a reminder, this being a Hero Series, it is last year standing, which means you win with the deck, you stay with that deck until it loses. So we are going to see, possibly if things go poorly or well for one of the players, the same deck 3 times in a row. But we'll go ahead and let the players know that they're good to start. And you should see the bans on the screen now as well. So I'm going to go ahead and let them know. And we should be getting going here with Dr. Fish on the bottom of your screen with Righteous Jammies at the top.
Right, and I know we haven't done a section for picks here, but while both players I think have a good shot, I will say I think my pick is going to be Dr. Fish. I have to give the credit where credit is due to my co-caster, and well, I can't see what Righteous Jammies is doing on his side. I know Dr. Fish has been putting in the time, and I'm expecting it to pay off. What about you, Donde?
Yeah, hard to argue with that assessment there. Fish has been playing very well for the last season plus, and this is, I believe, Righteous Jammies' first season or first match here in Hero. So it might be a little bit of a shock to the system in terms of it being a bit of a different, play flow than Conquest. So even if you have that competitive experience, it can still be a little different when you're getting used to the way this whole last hero standing thing works. So yeah, I think Fish has got to be the immediate favorite here, but anything can happen. It is Hearthstone, so we will see what comes out. We're jumping into the game here.
Well, it looks like for these players, I think that this matchup has actually been one that's flipped. I know that prior to the balance patch, Quest Hunter actually was slightly unfavored, and now is pretty heavily favored into the Holy Paladin. I think it might just be collective matchup experience growing at top legend, but we'll see what happens here. If I think the key is going to be either getting under or mitigating Lightforge Cariel, and we'll see if Fish can do that, or if Jammies is going to control the matchup and get the flow.
And they are getting going quick. I'm just still trying to get the classes set up on the screen, but you can see them there. Quest Hunter at the bottom of your screen for Dr. Fish, and the Paladin at the top for Righteous Jammies.
Yeah,
I have trouble referring to him as just Jammies because we have a Jammies in THL before Righteous Jammies. So if I keep saying the full name, that would be why.
yeah, and so far both players are firing off actions pretty quickly, but I really like the start from Righteous Jammies here. I think in this matchup, one of the ways that Paladin actually can win is just by sticking a large minion that absorbs too much of Hunter's damage and redirects it away from the face. And picking up Garden's Grace off the Battle Vicar is a perfect way to do that. Fish is going face early, And I like the decision here to start turboing out the spells. Maybe clearing the minions could matter, but I think that just getting the spells off and getting access to that discounted hero power as quickly as you can is really important for winning this matchup.
Absolutely. And Fish now considering what route to go here with this Sunfish in the way. It's got the Divine Shield, so he knows there's a Holy Spell in hand, which is always, almost always a sure bet here for the Paladin. And he's going to opt to Arcane Shot to get that second part of the quest online.
Yep, and then you see the ping go into that Divine Shield. Notably, if you aren't a Quest Hunter player, you might not know that damaging a Divine Shield actually does not progress your quest.
Yes, that is true, and definitely something that people fall into as a trap on occasion, as you mentioned.
And Righteous Jammies with the Okani, that is an excellent tech choice, and particularly is going to be brutal against the Quest Hunter. So Fish also has an interesting decision point here about whether he wants to work toward discounting the hero power with the steady shot or discounting the hero power of Tavish. So getting the summon pet online for 0 mana is potentially huge. And that might just be all Fish needs if he wants to just chew through this game slowly and just make a lot of beast. So starting off with Barb Nets, looks like Fish is electing to go the steady shot route, or at least think about it.
Yeah, pulled that piercing shot back there. Obviously knowing now that the Okani is a minion counter, so he's going to have to figure out a way to get around that when it comes time to play Tavish.
Yes. And I don't know if Fish is thinking about this, but right now, on Jammies' side, he's likely to... Oh, and there's the Maki roll. I was going to say, with no healing actually available, there is a chance that Fish could just go for the burn plan. But it looks like instead we're probably going to slow things down and work toward the Tavish.
And as we noted there, Fish sinking that damage into the Okani to get rid of it. And you know, if your jammies there, you're fine with that for the most part, because it does take damage away from your face, and you know, it required an answer. So that's a win in your book.
Yeah. See, Jammies goes for the Vitality Surge there, and maybe I'm just a little too aggro, but I think if I were him, I would have liked to have seen that Mr. Smite just come down and put all the pressure on Fish.
Yeah, they think a lot of the time with with this deck you win through combo, you know, making that smite larger and larger, but that is not a thing in this matchup particularly, since the Quest Hunter is going to want to push the issue consistently throughout the course of the game. So you're really never going to get to that phase of the game where you're just like, Smite's the only minion in my hand, I'm buffing it over and over again, and then just kind of win in one resounding charge. So yeah, I think I agree with you in this case here.
Yeah, and well, it's going to be interesting to see how Jammies responds to the Tavish. Fish is still going to have a while before he can start going off and getting these hero powers. And with the Tavish sort of stuck in the hand, I don't think that there's a real way to get Furious Howl fully active. This seems like it's going to be a tough stretch down the finish. All right. And then I think that... yeah, the Righteous Defense looks pretty juicy.
Yeah, I've been holding on to that one here for a few turns, and you know, this is the prime target for it, of course.
Yep. Get a big Leviathan, and I like this play from Jammies here. Just doesn't play the second Garden's Grace, holds it back. I think this is looking pretty good on Righteous Jammies' side right now, but I would have liked to have seen the second Grace to set up a Mr. Smite lethal. Still there.
I mean, you can always just pop it on to Mr. Smite as well, since it's free, but I think that's probably the thought process. Like, I'm withholding some information. You don't need to know everything in my hand. Maybe you feel like, oh, you can clear the board and I won't die. But yeah, I don't mind holding it back in this case, because you've got that Smite in hand.
Yeah. Well, looks though like, based on the information that we can see here, that Garden's Grace and Mr. Smite are gonna take it home here for Righteous Jammies. I don't think there is any way for him not to get lethal just attacking. Unless, yep, the Grace goes on. Can't be two secrets at once, and that'll do it.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, a game 1 win here for Jammies on the back of the Holy Paladin.
Yep.
The quick 1-0 lead, and we do emphasize quick. They were both playing very fast that game, and we have a now the this being hero being last hero standing. That hunter's locked out here for Fish, so he's got Demon Hunter Paladin remaining, but we're going to see that Paladin again from Jammies, and they are just going to jump right back into it.
Yeah. So Jammies is on the hunter at this point. Is this? Now, I can't say that I'm the most familiar with Last Hero Standing, but is this a miscue or is Jammies able to?
This is a
make that-
miscue, but the penalty is not as harsh since it's no loss of information effectively.
Right.
So yeah, we're just gonna want to obviously requeue the game here. I haven't put it up on screen yet, but we did have a miscue for those at home. So hold on just one sec while I get in contact with the players and let them know.
Yeah. And there's the information. And away we go. Right.
So the players have been notified. Yeah, Fish said he had caught it and let him know. So we're just going to go ahead and get this game to back up and running.
Yes.
And as I mentioned, there should not be a loss of game because that information that was given by Jammies was, purely one-sided since...
Yes, Fish is the pure beneficiary.
Yeah, so they are asking for a ruling, and I happen to be able to do that as well, so I'll let them know that too.
Yep. We do know, though, for the audience here, that Dr. Fish is playing the Mech Paladin. So I think that should bode favorably if it ever does need to run into the Quest Hunter eventually. Let's see.
Obviously, with this, we're going to see Fish will requeue that Paladin again. The counter into the Paladin, since that's what we had already. And here we go. All right.
So I think for this matchup, the equality is definitely a key card on Righteous Jammy's side. And, well, Dr. Fish has got that 1-2 going strong to start off.
Yeah, he's got that mech Paladin there. It's definitely the more aggressive version of Paladin right now.
Yeah.
May the light grant you peace.
So it looks like here that Dr. Fish will be setting up his Divine Shields and start pumping up that hand.
Yeah, I like the curve right now. Fish has got that Asharan Mooncatcher to play next turn into Amalgam, plus possibly something drawn off of it.
Yep. Oh, and a Leviathan, that's a card you like to buff.
Definitely.
Yeah, and we'll see. I think you just probably want to go for the Mooncatcher here.
Yeah,
pushing.
Yeah, I think there's no real downside there since you get that dredge into your deck there, or the card at the bottom of the deck to dredge, I should say, and then Amalgam just fits so nicely into the next turn because you can always hero power with it if you air draw on the Discover.
Yep.
Or
there's
now,
a Gorilla Bot.
Yeah,
so
that's an
another
option
good
too.
Option. But Amalgam is just as big. Naval Mine. Well, that does actually represent some pressure later because you do have the Jewel Kit buffing it.
I was just going to say, it's not bad to hold on to it in this case because you would rather it have an attack so it can be a threat. So yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
And on the other side, we have the Shimmering Sunfish, which unfortunately here is not quite going to be enough to stop this big 5-3. Get a second copy, another hand buff.
Yeah, I like the sacrifice of the 1/1 to clear off the shield there. Keep your Wind Fury at least a little healthier. And this is just immediate threats, but the equality, as you mentioned, is about to come down with this Wild Pyro.
Doesn't solve the problem though.
Not entirely, no.
Double Gorilla Bot looks nice.
Yeah, double Gorilla Bot into a Leviathan possibly next turn, especially with these Gorilla Bots being buffed, or at least the first one is at 5/6.
Yes, and I think in this matchup, just getting more motherships is real nice, and I think Fish agrees.
Yeah, never running out of refill for your board. In that, well, I shouldn't say never, but it becomes a lot more difficult to run out of refill. And the rate things are going, though, Fish isn't really going to need all that refill because James is getting kind of low on health and doesn't have any healing, which is a problem he ran into last game right until he top decked that Maki roll.
Yes, and there's no healing here. If
none.
I think you take the secret and, well, Fish test, then that's a wrap.
Oh.
And it looks like we're Carriel too.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just a wealth of options there for Fish, and the Mech Paladin does what it needs to do to win game 2 and even this series up.
Yeah, that's well, that's a good draw. I don't want to see that one again tonight, huh?
No, you don't. I'm sure Jamie feels the exact same way.
All right, so now that we're even up, Jammies knows about the Mech Paladin. We'll see what's coming back the other way. I'm gonna guess it's the Druid on Jamie's side, but it is the Hunter. So it looks like Dr. Fish is another matchup that should be in his favor. Radar Detector and Bannerman is pretty sick. Interesting. And it looks from seeing this Conscious Call and from seeing the Vicious Slither Spear last game, I think Jammies is on the more minion-heavy Naga version of the Quest Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. We'll see if that one can test the Paladin a little better.
Another jewel kit.
No.
Fish is just drawing absolute fire.
Yeah. On the other side, though, I think Righteous Jammies has something of a plan, though. Being able to develop the 2-drop and start pushing. It'd be nice if Fish greeds a little bit. Oh, and there's the Carriel, too. Now, I can say this set, one of the intricacies of Paladin is being able to draw your Carriel on time. And I think that, the class really, really likes having that card and almost revolves around it. So it's a big win for Fish to have that available as soon as possible. Annoyatron is not that annoying. Oh, and looks like a little bit of a slight misplay there.
Yeah, that's something you talked about last game as a trap that you can fall into. But
yes,
yeah.
And Righteous Jammies did have the option to direct that wound prey at the face and then prayed the 1/1 into the Divine Shield.
Right.
And would have been a little bit further on the quest.
Yeah, and I mean, you might think to yourself, oh, well, he's hoping to keep a minion, have a little bit more, board economy, but at the same time, it is, I think, orders of magnitude better to be progressing the quest whenever you can, especially in a matchup like this where the other deck is going to try and go fast.
Yeah.
We didn't see the Battle Master last game. I mean, Fish did not need it, but that is a lot of extra potential damage. And, there's a little overdraw, but not a card that he's probably going to miss.
Yeah, I don't think you're upset about that one. I don't think you care about overdraw either way when your 2-mana card draws 4. That's
correct. Yes.
That seems okay. And, well, aiming for the face at this point.
Yeah, it's really early to be in top deck mode for any deck really, but right now specifically, probably looking for a Furious Howl to get back into at least into the game competitively for card advantage. I mean, you're never going to outcard Fish at this point. He's got everything in his hand.
Right. Yeah, and I think just getting this mothership into play is very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Try to limit the damage on the other side. And maybe any Storm Coil this if it survives. Tracking's a big draw.
Big draw.
Drekthar.
Ooh, Drekthar, yes.
You like that card. And I think, too, if you're able to hit some treasure guards, maybe that helps. But we instead opt for the Conscious Call. And those are some good spells. I think that's about as good as Righteous Jammies could have drawn it up. So
yeah, not too bad of a result. I mean, I think it worked out better in practice.
Oh no!
That is.
I am not inclined to. There are some words I wouldn't say on stream that really want to come out of my mouth right now. That is nasty.
That is absolutely devastating. If you're Jammies, and if you're Fish, you are over the moon with that result because you can just make your hand almost entirely free.
Yeah, I think I would have gone for both discounts, but it doesn't matter. That's so sick.
Oh, he doesn't even want the second discount at all. I mean.
Yeah, I think that once you've committed to the line, you have to trade. But if you got both discounts and played Cariel, the Bannerman, and then all the 0-mana mechs,
yeah, what do you even do as the opponent in that case? Like it's
right.
Well, quick shot. I mean, we are seeing a lot of the draw train is going for Jammies, but
it is. But the shields are up, and
6 damage this turn means a lot less than last turn, unfortunately. So we'll get 3 damage to face, but that weapon is going to prove to be a pain.
Yeah. Oh,
this automaton is going to be big.
Yeah, looks like Fish is choosing to go this route over the Bannerman. Maybe just go any Storm Coil to get one that's large enough to go in with Battlemaster next turn. A lot of possibilities, but I think that without a Viper and without a Furious Howl into Viper, I just don't see how Jammies is getting out of this one.
Another Leviathan. Yeah, absolutely. Bubble Bot comes down. Everything on the board is very strong, very shielded.
And it looks like that's not enough. I don't think there's a way that Righteous Jammies can stop 26.
Not unless he somehow hits his head, becomes a Warlock, and draws a Twisting Nether. That's about the only thing I can see right here. That's an out. It's just not a real one.
Yeah, it's I think
Priest also works.
Oh, well, actually, this is an out. This is enough. It's not enough to get around the security bot. You can, Dr. Fish can pump that up, but I think this is the best play on Righteous Jammy's side. But this makes Fish work a little harder for it. So let's see if he spots it.
I mean, just playing the Battlemaster alone gets you 20.
25.
Yeah, 20.
Gets you 225 on the board.
Right, exactly. So that plus any one mech is lethal. So
yes,
Cariel's correct. The answer is indeed here.
Yep.
If I'm Fish, I'm just counting multiple times right now. I know this is something I do as well. Oh, he's gonna go ahead and attack in first. He can still do it though.
Oh,
now he just plays 2 mechs.
It's still enough. Oh, I think
not
it
anymore.
was missed.
Yeah, not anymore. I mean, this is still we would say insurmountable, but Quest Hunter does Quest Hunter things from time to time.
He still even could have done it if he had played the minion, but it's still enough.
Oh, I think he's going to realize it if he plays a minion now.
Yeah, but oh no.
Oh no. That is a devastating card for Fish. It's the only way that Jammies could possibly win this game. Arcane Shot's a spell. Piercing Shot is damage, but it's not
Thalnos
enough.
piercing shot?
Oh
No
my
way.
No.
So Thalnos piercing shot. It's 4. It's 1 off. But what if the top card's a spell? It's no. Yeah. This is no. It's enough. It's a
It is
catch.
enough. Oh no.
Oh wait, did Jammies miss? Jammies missed.
Oh, it's back.
Jammies, righteous Jammies missed lethal. Oh no. All right, and Dr. Fish will close it out, but tight game, and I think that I've seen some comments going around online saying that a lot of the decks are too straightforward in this meta and new set, and I don't think that's entirely true. And even there, like you can see that having a bit of experience can maybe pay off and help you finish, but
yeah, I think
both players. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I think when Cariel comes into play, it really messes with a lot of people's heads math-wise, because you're so used to doing that 2 plus X plus 2 plus X, and then all of a sudden you have to start doing the 1 instead of the 2, and it can really turn things all over in your mind there. So maybe that's a factor that played into it.
And you're not even accounting for the complete despair there, which is also going on and plays a role. The emotional damage from that immovable object. And it looks like we have Kazaku-san ramp on Righteous Jammy's side coming into Dr. Fish's Paladin. And for the first time, we're not going a 1, 2, 3, 4
yet.
Oh, never mind.
I was gonna say, you said it too early. The prismatic jewel kit was there.
I was pushing the luck a little bit. But yeah, looks good. I think you just probably scoop up that Annoyotron, but all good options. And then we could see the turn 3 Guff come out the other way, or the Nourish first. But
depending on how you want to structure it and how you want to play it, either is a more than happy sight on turn 3 for the Druid.
Yeah, and I think it's probably the Nourish here.
Well, I would say that is a possibility, but then you've got the second dozing Kelp Keeper.
Yes, you can still follow up with that if you'd like.
Right. I just meant that maybe you want to think about getting that, like going up to the Guff and then playing the Kelp Keeper, because you get the extra 1 mana.
Yep, that's true. You could try to save them both for next turn, but
right
here you have the Guff Hero Power Kelp Keeper next turn, and I think that tends to be one of the ways I prefer to ramp, but yeah, we'll see if Righteous Jammies chooses to go that way, and it looks like he will. Top deck is an aquatic form.
Not bad.
It rips it, gets a Jerry, and just elects to play the Jerry over ramping. So I think personally that's a really tough call. I think I tend to favor the Kelp Keeper there just for tempo, but getting those getting the Nourish and Enrich in hand, or Rampant Growth and Enrich, is a good way to set up the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think what he was probably thinking there is, I want as much immediate board presence as possible, so that way I have to compete with a deck that just keeps spitting out minions over and over again. Though does a 2/1 really do that better in the immediate term than a 4/4 with Rush a turn from now? So yeah, I think I would have opted to go the route that you went, but I can certainly see the thought process behind playing the Jerry Rig instead. And we do have Scale next turn as an option as well. Ramp plus Scale, of course. Or Kelp Keeper plus Scale. Well, I mean, I don't know if there's. Well, I guess you can do.
I think I favor. I think I like the way this is being approached right now. I think this is pretty indisputably the line.
Yeah.
And then you think about maybe innervating the Kelp Keeper.
I have no problem with that. Or innervating. Sorry. I thought the Naga was going to get discounted from 8 to 1. I didn't realize it had already gotten discounted by the Onyxia scale, or Scale of Onyxia, I should say. So yes, I agree with you. Oh,
and now it's a big Sunken Mooncatcher. I don't think you can afford to hold this guy back. You just got to let it rip.
Yeah, 9/7 is massive.
And yep, we see a little bit of play there around Raid Boss Onyxia. I think I like those decisions there on Fish's part. And, ooh, that is a little atypical there. The Feral Rage.
I
Not,
have seen that in some lists. It's not
yeah,
entirely common, but yes, it is certainly atypical for sure.
right. And, in this, it could be a great inclusion. I just can say I'm not super versed in it. All right. And it looks like, unless we see up, I don't think there's any way here out anymore, but maybe I'm wrong. Big board for Righteous Jammies, but it's just too little too late.
That's far too much on board there. Well, I shouldn't say
No,
far too much.
it's
It's
just
exactly.
enough.
It's far more than you want to see if you're the druid in this case, and it is exactly as you said, enough damage to end this game and end the series 3-1 for Dr. Fish. So that's going to give F2L now an 8-3 lead in this series. So that was it. That was a very quick series. Not only from a time standpoint, but just players were playing very, very quickly, and it makes it a little hard sometimes to keep up with everything. But let's go ahead and get Fish in here for a little interview. Sorry for those who can hear my typing to the players while we're trying to get our champion in here.
Oh, wow. Dr. Fish here on Friday Night Fights.
Never heard
this
that
is
before.
Whoa, wow, what a surprise.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. I was about to say, I'm here to cast the next match. Hello, everyone. But no, I'm not. Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, we liked what we saw. I know that the Mech Paladin, I think Shep started a movement, and it seems like all of the Master Tours players and you have just jumped right on the bandwagon. So tell me, what was going through your mind when you chose to bring that deck?
So my initial lineup actually had Holy Paladin in it. And I kept looking at the matchups, and I was like, this looks so weird, because like all the decks that I had a very wide variety of decks, and some that didn't seem very reasonable to be brought, and those were all the decks that Holy Paladin was really good into. And I figured in a lineup where I was kind of guessing my opponent would also bring Mech Paladin, because it was decent into, it could be pretty decent. It could create a mirror matchup for Paladin. And I just wanted pretty much the good matchups into Slow Druid and the Holy Paladin with that list specifically. And it has about a 50-50 with Hunter, which came down to the wire. I was super I think the attacking into a minion to set me to 10 was a very sketchy thing to do.
Yeah, I think that Octobot roll might have been...
The Octobot roll is like the only thing that saved that game. I think I lost if I didn't.
Yeah, I think you could have... I think if you had gone both Octobots and got both triggers by sending both into the 3-2, I think you could have done a little bit more, but...
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah.
It was a pretty wild game, too, because even at the finish, I think Righteous Jammies just missed out on a kind of tough lethal on the last turn. But
these are actually a lethal.
If the piercing shot went into the Thalnos, it was just enough. So, very very tight game, but some tough situations for those decks, and it's what matters most is just having a consistent plan and working toward it. And I think both of you did that, but you came out ahead.
Yeah, there was definitely some difficult turns. I think like the one turn I floated a mana, but I think the reasoning was, number one is that I thought if I waited too much longer, I'm gonna rope out a dredge, which I didn't really want to do. And playing the 1/1 Divine Shield felt like a throw because of piercing shot.
Right.
And it was super close to that game. But I want to have a consistent game plan when playing my decks. I had a consistent game plan with Quest Hunter. I just wasn't able to get there. And maybe
Yeah.
the game plan should have been to play the Tavish and go for that type of game plan. I'm still a little shaky on that matchup. I'm sure my teammates will be able to help me figure that out.
Absolutely, and I'm sure your teammates are pretty happy right now with how that match went.
Yeah.
You've jumped up to a big lead now.
Mhm.
I think 8-3. So looks
Indeed.
like things are going pretty well for you guys. Anything you're going to be looking out for in the next match, since we have Scrub Slayer and Pokemon going at it, and next game in the series?
Am I looking? I mean, there's a chance that we win the week on a sweep. I doubt that's gonna actually happen. I mean, they're both very, very strong players. It would be
Mhm.
amazing if my team could close it out. What am I specifically looking for? I mean, it is a mirror in classes. I think mirrors create a very interesting scenario with how you ban and how you bring.
Absolutely. And
So
especially when you see different bands, then you know that something
Yeah.
cool is going to happen.
I was a little taken back by the warrior ban. I for sure it kind of made me have to change my plan on the fly because I hadn't actually ended up accounting for a warrior ban. So I'm fortunate to have been able to come up with something in like a few minutes.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that on our end, we were thinking that Righteous Jammies could have been on the aggro druid, and that might have been what that was signaling.
Yeah, I really thought it was. I really was like wondering if there was like an aggressive druid deck in there. Which is I made specific cues to actually account for that. But which is actually why I led the Quest Hunter was I was checking to see if it was an aggro druid.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably that was a good plan.
Yeah. So yeah, it went pretty quick. But thanks, both of you for casting and Donde for opping. It's
Of course.
it's a pleasure, and looking forward to watching the VOD back.
Yeah, definitely. And sorry, I've been a little quiet during the interview here, just setting everything up for the next
Oh, yeah,
match. Of course,
of
It's-
course, of
you
course.
know how the opping game works.
Oh, I do know how it goes. I don't talk in interviews even when I'm a caster half the time. I don't know what to ask.
No, I definitely like to be involved, but I also want to make sure that our next players, who I don't know if either have ever been on Streamless before, know how the whole
Slayer
process
was
works.
So
Dude,
this
last
is Slayer's first season, and he played on
Right.
Sunday night last week.
Oh, okay. I missed the Sunday night.
Yes.
The Sunday night showdown or Sunday.
Yes,
yes,
did not go
Sunday showdown.
did not go his way. But then again, nothing really went our way last week on our team. So
Well, it's definitely looking better this week.
It is
8-3
looking
right
better.
now. So
of course,
Yeah, and you were able to count to 7 basically every game with your curve, and that's really what you like to do, right?
yeah, that the curve I had was crazy. Like,
double Octobot
sure.
will do some work as
oh,
well.
the Octobots did wonderful things. I didn't even think to double proc the Octo. I just said, oh, I get Cariel down. But if I had double proc Octo, I have Cariel and probably at least one other card that costs.
You would have been able to go Bannerman into Security Bot into 2 other mechs.
Yeah, and that would have probably wrapped it up even faster. Yeah, no, well that's definitely something to have to look back on and notice later on. So
It's funny to see Octobot, obviously, in Paladin, since it's a rogue minion. It's not a card that we see at all in this meta right now, and it was so prevalent in Rogue the last season. Like if you were running a Rogue deck, you were running Octobot. 99.9% of the time, or 2 seasons ago. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
and
for the nerfs.
Yes, and it's just kind of a little throwback there to see that, and I guess that's something that people will see more of, because Mech Paladin might get more and more popular as time goes on here.
Yeah, imagine being a Hearthstone player in 2014 or 15 and finding out that Paladin gets their full hand of cards discounted on turn 6.
Oh my gosh! Oh, me as someone who played mid-range Hunter in 2014, I would not have believed you. I would have said, okay, yeah, Hearthstone's going to a weird place.
Mana Cheat Paladin in 2022. This is where we
Yeah.
are.
I guess even Mana Cheat wasn't even huge. Wasn't even really a thing back then. Maybe besides preparation, that was preparation and Shadow Step were like the biggest.
Innervate was a pretty
No,
good
you're
Yeah.
right. No, Druid and Rogue had the ramp in Mana Cheat.
It's still not on the scale of like a hand wide discount though. You know,
Yeah.
discounting one thing or using Innervate, get yourself
Yeah.
up to play one card, maybe two. That's not as bad as like, here's my entire hand being discounted. Like that's
Yeah,
really, really big swing
Yeah.
a lot of the time.
Emperor
remember-
Thorson
I
took
remember
a long
thinking-
time.
Oh yeah.
I remember thinking hand buff was like going to be this crazy thing. Like, oh my gosh, I get to buff my minions in my hand for when when my rushers come down. Which right idea, but
Yeah, people
took a
tried
while.
that over and over, and we're
Took a
finally
while.
starting to see it at least to be a little viable here. Like you got
Yeah.
the combos with Smite and whatnot. I mean, Smite itself is its own unique beast, but
yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah, I think too, like it was a big deal for just, like we've seen hand buff have success in Wild already, and that was just, the result of them getting the right cards or having the right things to buff. In Standard, it's always been a little bit lackluster. Right,
sure.
and seems like we are going to have the next match a little bit early for everybody.
yeah, very nice of our players
I'm
in the
very
second
happy
match
for
to
them,
move
yeah.
up. Yeah. Well, Fish, thank you so much for being on stream, and thank you to your opponent as well, Righteous Jammies, for being on stream, and congratulations on your win.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for casting, and I'll see you guys later.
Absolutely, we'll see you in the
Sounds
chat.
good. Thank you, Dr. Fish. Yeah. Well played series by both of them. So hopefully the next one is delivering as well.
I'm sure it will. And as I mentioned, this is, normally we allot about an hour for these matches. They played very quickly, and we're just now getting our two players online here that they've graciously agreed to move up and allow us to get going a little sooner. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the screen over so that everyone can see what our next matchup's going to be, and then we can talk about that a little bit. I also would like to shout out Kodamora. Thank you for your subscription to the channel, 4th month in a row. Always appreciated, and that makes me, want to talk about that a little bit real quick. Just if anybody's out there and you're not subscribed, PHL, please do consider that, because it allows us to bring better content, better prizes for like the Mysterious Challenger stuff is just getting started. We've got March Madness wrapping up. We're the Elite 8 here. That's going to get going again this weekend. That's got prizes. So, if you can, subscribing is always greatly appreciated. At the very least, go ahead and give us a follow, turn on notifications so you know when we go live. Thank you so much to everybody out there who's tuning in with us on a Saturday night. And, if you didn't get enough of the Masters Tour during the day, that's at a little bit of an awkward time for the U.S. to watch right now. This could be your big Hearthstone, experience of the day. So, glad to be here for match number 2. As you mentioned, Pokemon 661 versus S Slayer. This one is a pure mirror, still hero. So we got Demon Hunter, Druid, Hunter, Paladin for both players. Next stat, we saw this lineup once already. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think that the context is definitely a little bit different here. I think it's a little tougher to figure out. You could end up going with a target Druid strategy, because Hunter and Demon Hunter can both play pretty aggressive decks into that. But I think that Paladin, in spite of what we saw from the mechs, tends to have a little bit harder of a time doing that consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that makes that difficult. Then on the other hand, if you choose to go the route of banning the Demon Hunter, then it's kind of murky, because you have all of these. You have the Ramp Druid in a really good position if it is ramp, but it's tough to know what you do with your other two decks. So I think that we really could see anything, and with a closed deck list format, it's the players can really get creative with what they're going to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, it becomes kind of a bit of a mind game there. I think you're going to do X, so I'm going to do Y, but you might think I do Y, so I do Z. It's a little bit of like a leveling concept which it does bring that unique dynamic to the closed deck list series, which I do enjoy personally.
Exactly.
So I have them getting their bans ready now, so we should should get that shortly here. What do you expect? What in your heart do you feel like will be banned here in this this second series?
I think both players will ban Druid. Final answer.
Final answer. All right. I got some typing going on, so hopefully we will know whether or not you are right shortly. We've seen a couple fun matches on stream over the first 2 weeks here, Friday night fights. And we'd just like to remind everybody out there while waiting for the bands to come in, if you'd like to play on stream, not even just on Friday, we have Saturday and Sunday streams as well. Please do let myself, Wild9, who runs Saturday's show, or Saku, who runs Sunday's show, that you'd like to play on stream. We always love to have new players play on stream, old players, everyone in between. So just got to get your opponent's permission and let us know you want to play. There is a channel in the main Discord for stream requests, so just go ahead and pop in there too if you don't want to, message someone directly. And we'll try to get you on stream. We always try to respond as quickly as possible because we can't put anything on stream if you guys don't want to play on stream. So please feel free to let us know whenever you're interested.
Right. So soon these bans are going to come in. I know that I went with the double Druid, but what's your pick, Dante?
I am always kind of afraid of the Demon Hunter as a potential sweep. So unless you're specifically tailoring your lineup against it, which is possible, or in Hero you only have to really have like one hard counter to it, preferably two, just in case it gets banned away. Demon Hunter feels like a good one to ban. So Druid, I would agree with you, is probably like right up there as like a second choice. But I think Demon Hunter for me is the pick. And I'm wrong because I've already got information that Druid is being banned, so I couldn't even take a breath before I was proven incorrect.
Well, I think you'll see that both of our philosophies are consistent with how we do things in our match.
I had not actually looked at what you banned yet, so that's funny.
Spoilers, Dante. It's your Druid.
And it's your Demon Hunter. So there we go.
Right,
just trying to get the second ban in. I got just the one so far, so maybe we will go 50-50 on this after all.
Maybe. And it's interesting too because with the Demon Hunter ban, I think it gives the Hunter and Paladin a lot more leeway to go in different directions. Because normally, if you are leaving that up, you need to be Quest or a Control Holy Paladin. And now we could see other things, and I'm genuinely curious how you're going to attack the Druid problem with Paladin, because I think that's one of the toughest puzzles to solve in this meta. So, whose ban was that of the Druid?
So S Slayer's Druid is going to be banned.
Okay.
That is our first one here. Just getting that represented on screen here while I wait for the second one to come in. The stream software decided to freak out on me for a second, so you'll see the screen flip like 3 times in a row before getting back to the screen here. Sorry, just a little bit of a spasm click on my end. There we go. And let's see if we've got that second ban in. It is, in fact, a DH ban, so we nailed it.
Wow, one of each.
One of each, exactly. I love it. Yes, so that means no Demon Hunter for Pokemon and no Druid for S-Slayer.
All right, well, I'm very, very interested to see Scrub Slayer's Paladin. I think that's going to be the deck I'm watching for.
Icon is very large, but it is representative of what we're going to see. There we go. Let's, first time opping over here. Okay, there we go. All right, so we are going to let the players know that we've got the info, we've talked it out, and the only thing left to do is to play the match. So They're going to get going here, and we will see what they lead off with while I'm letting them know. What do you think? What do you think we might see in game one here?
All right, so I think that just Scrub Slayer is probably going to bring the Paladin right off the get go. That would be my guess, and I think Pokemon will probably all. I think it's Paladin Mirror. That's my guess.
Paladin Mirror. All right.
Yeah.
I think, when we're discussing the Druid versus the Demon Hunter, I think we're going to see it flip. I think we're going to see a Druid versus Demon Hunter in game one.
Oh boy, that's a spicy bring.
It's it seems like sometimes people will want to have like those two decks that they've got in mind that they like. I want to start with one of these two, right? And I'll basically just start with whichever one is not banned. So it feels like that could be, since those were the two that we talked about as being the most likely bans.
Yeah,
I feel
that
like
makes sense.
I feel like in my mind those two are the ones that they'll want to sweep with. So just like last time, we'll have S Slayer representing F2L on the bottom of your screen, and it looks like they should be getting started now.
Yep, and we're in.
Got some eyeballs.
Well, it looks like things aren't going well for our predictions. We've got
No, not at all.
Hunter versus Paladin, so.
I'll make my own fortune.
And we see the Ring of Courage, which I think is part of some of the older holy lists.
Yes, it is. It is an inclusion in some of the holy. It does have that trade capability, of course, so lets you kind of churn a little through your deck, but not in every list.
Yes, and Scrub Slayer is keeping the Viper. Someone's been carried a few too many times.
Yeah, it's definitely a potential reach, but now you know that you're not going to get it out of Drekthar, where it just becomes I mean, not that it's a bad body, but it is obviously more advantageous if you can blow up the weapon.
Absolutely. Tricky turn for Pokemon. Looks like we just see the trade. Early Mr. Smite. Oh, I think if you're Scrub Slayer, this is a difficult question of how you want to split up your spells. Because I think in this matchup, I would tend to advocate Dragonbane shotting just right for the face. I don't think you're going to be able to create those easily. But Hero Power and double 1-mana spell also, I think, are worthy considerations. Right, we see the Hero Power.
Okay. Take it a little slower. Yeah, I think Dragon Maid Shot is such a key card for Quest Hunter. We didn't see that at all in the first series. I think that didn't show up in Jamie's hand at all. So it is definitely, if you can manage to chain that, and not obviously if you're a Pokemon, if you're the opponent, you're trying not to play into it. But it can be difficult because you do have those Nagas that increase your spell damage, so you can kind of work with it a little bit if you're Scrub Slayer.
Yes, and I think except for the Immortalized in Stone, I think the Paladin deck is, for the most part, completely absent of two health minions.
Off the top of my head, I believe that's correct. Yep.
So, but it is close list, so we will see. Cariel here is nice, puts on pressure, and that Divine Shield means that Scrub Slayer, without Wound Prey, will have to waste a resource to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the aim shot buffed Hero Power or just one of the spells in hand.
Well, you could, if you use Raj this turn, use the Barb Nets to hit something other than the 4/3 as well, so you still get the benefit for the Barb Nets to advance the quest. It is a little earlier than you'd probably want to use Raj, but it's just you don't want to leave Carol out there. Like, that's just asking for trouble.
Absolutely is, and I think Scrub Slayer is probably trying to work that one out right now.
Yeah, trying to reason through, like, how do I justify this? Do I just get rid of a spell to not bother worrying about advancing the quest? But we're gonna see quick shot to start, which will move the quest to phase 2.
Well, or just go face. That's the other option.
That is a choice.
All right.
That city tax that just got drawn there.
It is.
There's definitely healing here.
Yep. I think too that Pokemon finds another holy spell, and we're probably just going to see the Maki roll all the way back to full. Get those discounts on the Garden's Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if that Garden's Grace is able to come down next turn, that's a really tough look. And you even could start taking stats onto Mr. Smite at a point, since it's the only minion in hand. Like, I think things are looking pretty good for Pokemon right now.
Yeah, we get that Garden's Grace down to what, 2 right now, or 3 right now rather.
Yes.
Furious Howl, not the card that Scrub Slayer wanted to see with a hand of this size.
Well, I think that the hand's going to get a lot smaller pretty quickly if, depending on what line Scrub Slayer chooses to take, but we'll see. 'Cause I'm expecting Raj and all the removal to come out, but nope. Instead, we're going to Furious Howl, and Mark Shot doesn't solve the problem.
No.
If this Cariel sticks around, that's very, very bad. How does Scrub Slayer get out of it from here?
Yeah, I think once we played the Furious Howl, it really did cut down the options that were available this turn. Now only 3 mana plus the coin. Gonna just hero power. We're gonna hero power something.
Well, when in doubt, the hunter goes face.
Yeah. Just
And
with a deck that has so much healing that the Paladin has, it feels like such a long way off.
Okay, so this sounds a little bit wild, but I really like the idea here of siphoning the stats from the 6/6 onto Mr. Smite.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that or one of the big taunts, but I think that using the mana to do that could have been pretty big game. So just to lock in that damage to have in hand, and but on the other side for Scrub Slayer, still in a position where there's not a lot to be done. You have to, I mean, there's a little bit of knowledge that we have from the caster booth, but
Right.
he has to deal with all of this. Yep, and there's that line you were considering of splitting the damage there. But this is enough to clear. Oh, I don't think that works. Does it? It does, okay. But Mr. Smite is in the hand, and
Yeah, unbeknownst to Slayer, of course.
yeah. Yep, and that early Garden's Grace just seems to have gotten it done. And then if you want to be cute, you can buff the Mr. Smite, do a little extra, but nah, Pokemon's a pro, just gonna close it out and take us into next game.
Absolutely. Hide that information. I mean, not that anyone who's been playing ladder in the last few days wouldn't know that you had that the stat stealing card, the Righteous Defense, but
Yes.
either way, just close list, keep it close to the vest. So game 1 goes to Pokemon, and we will see that Paladin, we'll see that Paladin again, the Holy Paladin. We'll see what Scrub Slayer decides to queue into it.
I think this one will be the Paladin Mirror. I'm more confident this time than they.
I am thinking that you probably are, because the Demon Hunter tends to be kind of iffy into Paladin, especially this Paladin.
Yes.
So I would agree. That's a pretty big first win there for Teenage Mutant Ninja Squirtles and Pokemon as well. Forgetting if are we still experiencing the challenge bug where everyone gets dropped every single game?
Honestly, I don't know.
I guess we'll find out later.
Yeah, I guess I haven't had a friendly challenge since the patch.
I was just thinking with how fast the games were going in the first series, you know, Fish and Jammies seemed to be queuing very quickly as well. So I wasn't sure, but now they both might be experiencing difficulties here. They're really making you work for this this paladin mirror, potential
guess
paladin
so.
mirror.
Potential. Who knows? I mean, I've seen some pretty scary stuff on the ladder. It could be. I've seen Fell Quest Demon Hunter is back.
Oh, the quest. Okay.
Yeah, I've run into that with the Brand Jace combo. Which,
wow. That is wow. Okay. That's a thing.
It is a thing, and that was on the leaderboard, so people are really going for it.
Yeah, Brand just as a card obviously enables so much in the way of like crazy finishers with the double battle cry, especially if you can discount him and or the card that you wish to battle cry. Yes. Obviously we saw that with Shutterwalk back in the day. It's just the potential for it is so strong.
Yeah, or if you just do what some players are doing, like I know Nails has been playing a lot of Quest Druid, and you can just get you don't have to discount anything if you just have 15 mana. That's one way to go about it.
Yeah, Druid never lacks for mana possibilities, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it looks like we had a little bit of a restart, but we're back into it.
Okay.
And it is the Paladin Mirror.
Are you actually seeing the game right now?
I am seeing the mulligan.
Okay, so it's it did not join me up into the game here, so I'm gonna re-spectate here.
Yes, and I cannot see Pokemon's side, so I will do the same.
Here we go. Yeah, I was saying they're battling a friend, and I was like, well, I'd love to see that, and I'm sure everyone at home would love to see it too. So there we go. As you mentioned, Paladin Mirror incoming. And it is a Holy Paladin Mirror too. So it's not just a class mirror, it is a deck mirror. I'm sure we'll see, some possible different cards in there. Like we see Mutanus up at the top. A pretty common inclusion at this point in this list.
Yes, and Scrub Slayer has the Viper.
Yeah, that's a card that you definitely see in place of the Ring of Courage. So it still has the turn where you can go ahead and trade it, but it does have the advantage of blowing up, of course, a Carial weapon.
Yes. And see the Viper and Pokemon size as well. And I think from this position, not really much is actually happening. I know that's not really the best thing to say, but just in this mirror, there's just so much healing available that this early chip often tends to be just trivialized by healing from Maki Roll, Flash of Light, and Vitality Surge into the late game.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it last week on stream when we saw this matchup for the first time, and it comes down to a lot of the time buffing that smite and just kind of finishing the game all in one fell swoop.
Yes, exactly. And, now that we know both players have the Viper available, I'm guessing neither of them will trade it. I know that seems odd, but they'll probably just continue to hold that in case Cario comes down on curve.
Yeah, I think there's so many other options to draw typically, or even, like you said, the immediate early turns with just kind of jockeying for position on board isn't necessarily as advantageous that the swing that getting rid of that weapon can provide. But yeah, I would say that it probably makes sense to me to just go ahead and hold on to the Vipers, and just in case you never see it again, which would be devastating.
Exactly. And then, too, you also have to look out for Righteous Defensing your own minions, because once Mutinous is gone, then I think it gets a little bbit difficult to counter the eventual gigantic Mr. Smite.
And most of the counter options involve a taunt of some kind, but also Okani is a possibility too. Players will know that that's most likely a thing that can stop their smite and will play around that, but you never know. You can always catch someone out if they're not paying attention. and then you are sad because your win condition is gone. Countered.
Yeah. Or somebody discovers a Judgment of Justice. I know.
Oh yes.
I mean, you may have seen it on YouTube. You may have done it yourself, but it's pretty good.
It is pretty good. Well, it's pretty good for somebody. It's pretty bad for the other.
Yes. So Lightforge Cario comes, or not Lightforge, regular Cario run comes down and gets the discount. But right, we see it looked like an early righteous defense from
yeah.
Pokemon, and I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think it's
it's the Viper too.
Yes. I think that when you have clean trades into Cario, just using such a valuable resource for only 3-2 of stats is a little suspect, but
yeah,
could be a bit of a mind game. Pokemon might be trying to signal to Scrub Slayer that he has the Smite or a minion worth mutinissing. So, tough to navigate. I like Scrub Slayer there using the heal to just keep the board presence and clear off the minion, but
I'm gonna go ahead and toss this. Yeah, toss it back.
Yep. All things that are looking good. And the blessing is actually kind of nice here. I think holding it can be good too, but using that blessing to just pressure board after seeing a righteous defense is, it's a good way to just stay ahead in the short run.
Definitely.
Right. On the other side, I see the flash of light just for cycle. And there's the second righteous defense, and Pokemon's
mousing it already.
Eager to go for it, but I don't think you can really afford to give up your second. Just
I mean, it's always possible that you find more through the Battle Vicar, but it's far from a guarantee.
Exactly.
Opting to hold on to it instead.
Here we see it on Scrub Slayer's side, both available to both players. And the flash of light is just what you want to see. Just more churning through the deck.
Ooh, there's Cario.
And
on curve.
Knowing that the weapon is going to get destroyed, it's still awesome to have Cario just because your hero power when you switch is so much better than the original one. Blessing of Queens is a big problem, and if Pokemon only has one more righteous defense, then eventually, even through the immovable object, those big minions still put on a ton of pressure.
And not to mention the fact that Scrub Slayer has the Pyro quality combo in hand, also has Pyro and 2 Holy Maki rolls, so a lot of... the Viper gets eaten, though. That's actually a pretty good hit.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I think that even from this position, I still really like what Scrub Slayer has going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Scrub Slayer's still in the better position overall, as you mentioned. But at the same time, if you can't hit Smite, you'd rather hit the Viper, and it will at least slow things down a little bit. Now, do we see a clearing of the mute here for Scrub Slayer?
I would guess probably not. I think clearing it's okay. You can mitigate 3 damage with the weapon.
Right.
But if Pokemon commits more resources into the Mutinous, then you have a potential righteous defense.
Yeah, you know where you're at right now health-wise versus your opponent. They're the one who's going to want to try and clear your board, so don't do the work for them.
Exactly, and here come the heals. And in this spot, if Scrub Slayer were to just find Mr. Smite, I think the game sort of just ends.
It would be devastating. It is a 1 in 14 chance.
It is immortalized in stone, which is also pretty good.
Yeah, it gets that Garden's Grace online when that also gets drawn.
Yes. And I think that if I would guess, Scrub Slayer is probably debating whether using one of these Maki rolls or an equality makes sense in the spot.
I think with 2 equalities in hand, I don't hate that. Just trying to think, how would you do it in such a way that you wouldn't lose your Pyro?
And I don't think there is one.
No.
So, I think that Immortalized in Stone coin hero power is a fine line. But We'll see, because what you can do in this spot is basically store up your hero powers with righteous defense.
Mhm.
So you can, keep buffing this pyro, and then when you do draw Mr. Smite, pyro righteous equality. And then you can keep the stats without leaking them. But we're going to instead, I think, probably just see the clear. So I think Scrub Slayer may have intentionally or otherwise signal to Pokemon that the hand is minion free.
I think there was another option there too. Could have played the pyro and then just used an entire Maki roll plus a coin with the Maki roll. Would have cleared the board, kept your pyro alive. So that is it. And you wouldn't have been able to hero power, I think, if you did that. No, you would have been. No, you could have hero powered with it as well.
And let's see, what did they choose? Minion.
Yep. Not surprising in any way.
Yep. I think we might just see the coin pop out here. And the Garden's Grace makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Vitality Surge. So
tougher to remove.
Coin. Yep. And Surge is nice too, because you can get the Mr. Smite started, if potentially.
Shimmering Sunfish the draw instead.
Yep.
I mean, if you're Scrub Slayer, you don't necessarily mind that because it does have the added bonus of just eating the Okani counter. Yeah. So that is something helpful, but
yes, the carryall pickup for Pokemon, it's huge. Look at that.
Especially since that carryall, the weapon is going to be in play for the rest of the game, provided there's not a second Rustrat Viper in the deck. Usually not run in duplicate in this deck, but it is possible. Closed list, we don't know. There's 11 cards left.
Yep. And yeah, tricky situation. I think Divine Shield is gone. Garden's Grace. So I think in this spot, probably just have to take the stats from the Okani and try to make Pokemon commit more. But a little tricky. But you do know that you can eventually find the city tax and get rid of the counter. And now this fish is storing up some stats for Mr. Smite.
Yeah, biggest fish you'll ever see.
Yep. So we'll see if counting to 30 or counting to 60 is faster. There's no Okani. I honestly don't hate just using the Okani here to pop it. Popping on Okani and then just continuing to stack on Sunfish.
I guess it depends on how you feel about coin flips here. Because, I mean, if you want to try to hold on and try to, find a way to clear off the Okani without playing a minion, but actually, I mean, is there even a way to do it at this point? I don't think there's anything else. City tax.
City tax is exactly it.
Yep. So at least if there's, more than one copy of it, 2 in 9 chance to get there, 1 in 9. If there's not, we've already seen the one, so we know it's in the deck.
Listen. I don't think you're going to get much out of the Okani in this spot. So, and like looking at the hand, it seems like it wouldn't do much, but yeah. I think it's just too important to make sure that you can stack on the fish. And
let's go for the 50-50.
Looks like a miss, but we'll see. No, the big minions are coming down on the other side, and Righteous Defense is a great pickup.
Yeah, 3rd Righteous Defense.
I think Invigorating Sermon also is good just for pressure. Yep, I like that play.
Okay, yeah.
makes the clock a little faster. And yeah, let's see if Scrub Slayer can find the out.
Well, there's Leviathan, but you can't just
so-
slam that down.
Yeah, a little bit punished there by holding the Okani. But I think you gotta start Maki rolling and hoping.
And we see just maybe Okani here to go ahead and get it out of your hand, get rid of the Okani counter from Pokemon, and then Maki roll yourself into safety. But, I mean, I guess what is safe at this point? You're already staring down for 10, 15 damage on board. Or plus the weapons, so 70. I mean, lethal is represented right there. And if there's any sort of buffs in hand, which we see there is a buff in hand in the Garden's Grace, this could just be it.
Yeah, Mr. Smite off the top ends the game for Pokemon. That is something else to consider too.
So, there are a lot of choices off top that could win. I mean, a second Vicar into another buff spell is a possibility as well. Considering here, do I put the minion down for defense, or do I keep Maki rolling? I'm going to play it to the wire, but go with the Sunfish.
Yep, and you see the use of the Righteous Defense here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Does it hit the Anointment?
Does hit the Ignite.
Yeah, it does hit the Knight. That's a huge one-drop, 1724.
Big stats.
And
Holy Maki roll is not it, though, at least. But this is a pretty good Righteous Defense going the other way, but the fish makes it complicated. Could also just see the quality. That would not be enough still, though.
Yeah, gotta use the Righteous Defense here. Hits the Leviathan.
So, still a tricky spot, though. You can remove a bit of damage, but you need to hit something good with your draw. That Garden's Grace is pretty threatening.
Light guide my actions.
Tough spot for Scrub Slayer,
Just,
but
yeah, the mana, just very awkward here.
I'm running out of time.
and it doesn't feel like just hoping that there's no punish the fish is going to work out. But let's see. Go back up. I think he can get them all in time. And the animations are playing out, so
It looks like we got there. Oh, no,
Nope,
one shot.
off.
Okay.
yeah, but notably, no Mr. Smite, so I think the game will continue.
Yeah, nothing in hand there that
Can't count to 22.
you can't get there right this turn.
I think it's just barely off. He can get to 20, it looks like, but 22 is not possible.
And having seen both Holy Maki rolls and both Vitality Surges, both Flashes of Light, that's a lot of the healing, if not all of the healing used for Scrub Slayer. So Pokemon's got to be feeling like the damage that I do now is pretty permanent.
Yes. All right.
Go ahead and Maki roll, get back to full, heal your minions up, and tell Scrub Slayer, you better handle this now or it's over.
Yeah. And I think it's
Second Pyro maybe would be your...
Pyro or bust. And it's immortalized in stone, which I don't think does it, but maybe there's a draw off Leviathan that we're missing.
Well, second Pyro would be...
Well,
but
I don't think the Pyro's enough.
oh no, because Pyro plus equality, it's too expensive. But
So I think we got to go for the dredge first. And we see... Oh, there is the pyro. Battle Vicar.
Yeah.
Battle Vicar could do it if it's Maki roll. Maki roll does prolong the game one more turn. So I think the Vicar is the only correct choice. And we see the Vicar. And Maki roll?
The light guides you.
Judgment of Justice. Yeah.
Not enough. It comes up just a little short if Pokemon orders things correctly. And there's Mr. Smite. So test with an attack, but this should be done.
All are equal
Uh-oh.
before the light.
Well, you can play it.
Oh yeah.
You just don't want to attack with it. But yes,
Okay, yeah.
the ordering
it's
is done correctly. Yes,
Now
that's
it's good.
just a formality, of course, but
Yes.
always nervous as the casters when you see mousing happening and you're not quite sure if the player knows exactly what you're thinking. So in this case, Pokemon did, and we'll go up now 2-0.
Yeah. And last one is the Demon Hunter.
And as we mentioned, if it's any sort of aggressive type Demon Hunter, which most of the variants at this point are in some capacity, it is not going to be very good in the spreadsheet here for the Demon Hunter against this Paladin. This Paladin is built to beat this Demon Hunter, though. Played enough of the matchup on both sides on ladder that sometimes the Demon Hunter just gets the gas and gets through it anyway.
Yeah, if Drekthar comes down and there's no equality, then tends to be pretty good for the Demon Hunter. That Drekthar card can win some Hearthstone games.
Yeah, here if you bought the diamond version of it too, like you get to choose what minions come down. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yeah, the UI is really messy, but it is true.
$25.
All right.
It'll get you there.
All right, well, those aren't Drekthar. Mankirk's all right though, but Carriel's over there on the other side. That's a good card. Now, I know that we've seen some Demon Hunters elect to run the Viper. Do we think Scrub Slayer is packing a Viper here?
A good question. Yeah, if I'm Pokemon, I'm keeping that Carriel all day.
I think that's just a keep on Pokemon's side. And
Yeah.
well, no Drekthar.
No Drekthar. Top deck's the multi-strike. And you got that
Yep.
Spectral Sight on the left, so it is at least in the correct spot to go ahead and get that down next turn. But that's a pretty slow start for the Demon Hunter.
Yeah, and if there's no Viper here, the Carriel might just be able to solo.
I'll never stop
But-
searching.
Need for Greed, wrong time.
It's a very
Yeah.
heavy hand right now for the Demon Hunter in a matchup
Yes.
they do not want it to be heavy.
And the Sunfish on 3 into an empty board is very, very
Oh.
good for Pokemon.
Another brutal
And-
draw.
Yeah. I think coining it, honestly, might be the play. I think Scrub Slayer is inclined to agree. Just to make sure you have a big hand. Because if Carriel is not the card that comes down, you can, in practice, take the Paladin long.
Interesting to use Fury there.
Yeah, I think it's the
Because-
least
yeah.
valuable resource, but
Yeah,
tough.
The light guides
Tough.
I was say multi-strike as a possibility. Obviously, you just don't want to burn anything in your hand, but
Yeah.
and just no real good way to go about all that turn there.
Yeah. I think the Immortalize in Stone is one you want to have, but isn't as good as it looks, and Blessed Goods is... I think Click Clocker pretty solid, but hard to say. Samuro in the Paladin's hand as well.
Judgment of
Yeah.
Justice is the pick. Yeah, I mean, when in doubt, a secret is a secret. You don't
Yeah.
know as the opponent, so you gotta respect all the possibilities.
Mm-hmm. And there's Steno. So that is not going to go well into Judgment of Justice.
No.
Oh, I think maybe see. I feel like the 2-drop is must play to try to start getting some pressure going, but very hard spot. I don't think Scrub Slayer's draw really worked out at all.
It could go with the Treasure Guard, which makes your predation free into a multi-strike, clear off 2 minions. I mean, none of this makes me excited. None of these plays make me excited.
I mean, I think I'm happy to use the multi-strike here.
Yeah, that might be the.
But
Let's see it.
Nope. And Leviathan, another card that can finish things. I like the use of Flash of Light here to protect the minion. And there's the Viper on the other side.
Yeah, I think maybe what Scrub Slayer's thinking too is like Bone Glaive. Sorry, what year is it? Bone Wraith. Bone Glaive is a playable card here. Just go ahead and plop that down. Get rid of the Sunfish. Did pick up Kurtrus. Does see Drekthar. Is it? I mean, it's kind of late for Drekthar at this point, though.
It's still good.
Yeah, I mean, you're still taking it, but I mean, it's not. You probably don't want to play it next turn. You probably want to play Kurtrus next turn, and then now you're looking at a turn 7 Drekthar, which is significantly less exciting than a turn 3 or 4 Drekthar.
I still like my 4 mana, like 8/10. I'm still happy. I won't.
Will we live to see that turn at this point, though, with the way this game is going, as Pokemon just keeps pouring damage in? Hey, it's Drekthar.
I think the answer is nope. But yeah, and I like going for a Drekthar over Kurtrus here. Mm-hmm. You're sort of priced in. And Treasure Guard, Mancrick's,
yeah.
Mancrick's not who you want to see, but another tough spot here, but no. See the Leviathan actually come out instead of Cariel, which I think is a good call.
Yeah, you're in such a strong position here. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah. Oh, and there's Mr. Smite. That looks good. And then I expect to see this 6/7 push face, especially with the secret up. And goodbye multi-strike. Now, even with Kurtrus, I don't think that there's really a clear that Scrub Slayer can work out.
No. Kurtrus is at a 6/4 right now, or the demons are at a 6/4, I should say. I just don't think it's there.
Yeah.
We'll get to 7/4 with that attack, so it can at least clear that. I mean, the board.
Not exactly.
No, the board can't get cleared.
No, and the Mr. Smite's lethal anyways, but yeah, the Judgment of Justice is just salt in the wound.
Yeah, I think if you're Scrub Slayer there, you're like, I know this is probably Judgment of Justice, but I have to try. Like if I don't, I just lose anyway. So yeah, that's man, that's a tough way for that deck to go out. That never got a foothold. It was just absolutely suppressed by the Paladin, and the entire lineup, in fact, was suppressed by the Paladin because S-Slayer is swept out here by Pokemon, and that's huge for Teenage Mutant Ninja Squirtles because they were down 8-3 after the last match, and this gets them back to 8-7. So it is a very, very winnable week now for them with 2 games left to play.
Yeah, and if you're Dr. Fish and watching in the crowd, just know that Pokemon beat your PR by 3 minutes if you were trying to speed run your match this week.
That's true.
25-minute series. Wow.
Yeah. And neither player there was playing super fast either. They were definitely taking their times with their turns. But sometimes the matchups just go that way, and there's just not much you can do. But let's see if we can get Pokemon in here to discuss that series.
Right. But yeah, I guess we never got to find out about the druid though. A little sad.
We did not, unfortunately. All right, let's friend, because Discord makes you do that. I'm in here. All right.
Hello, congratulations on the win.
Hello, thank you.
Now, not only on the win, but on the sweep. That Paladin deck is strong from the get-go. Obviously, we saw in Game 2 there was a Paladin mirror, and you know you were on the wrong side of the Viper.
Yes.
So
Or was I on the wrong side? I thought I was on the right side of the Viper.
I'm sorry, you were on the right side of the Viper. You ate
Yes.
the Viper. You ate the
Yes,
Viper.
I ate their Viper. I got very lucky with that. I think the game would have gone the complete other direction had I not, because they drew the carry-all first.
Yeah, that's you know, we were saying there the Viper is definitely one of the priority targets there for the Mutanus. If you can't have the smite, you'll gladly take the Viper. So that was good there. We did notice like there was an aggressive use of, you know, the righteous defenses, and what was your mindset in that matchup there in the early going in the mirror?
I wanted to be the one to pressure them. I'm not a very good control player, I will admit that, but I did not want to be losing tempo, especially because I didn't have Carriel in hand. I wanted to be able to hold out and make them have to like spend turns healing rather than just killing me with smite once they had the Carriel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I figured they would draw it before I did. Set up for that in case I get unlucky.
Yeah, it turns out, and if you go back and watch this on VOD, it turns out that smite was sitting in the bottom 3. That final dredge there on the last turn revealed the smite to us. So yeah, Slayer was waiting and waiting and waiting on the smite that was just never going to come, and you know, you ended up obviously drawing it much sooner, but it was not really necessary in that. So definitely, you know, you did the right, you did end up doing it. You know, game plan wise, you got the pressure down, did force the heals, and you know, finished off the game. So it ended up being a great win there for you.
Yeah. I still think that entire game came down to Mutanus eating the Viper. I think that was the entire game.
Yeah, I think though that like still like with your draw and the way you were playing it though, just like the Okani was similarly effective. Although it's really hard to see that from your side without, you know, caster vision.
Yeah, without caster vision, it was hard. I also thought that the Mackie roll in hand from their mulligan was a smite the entire time, so I was playing around that.
I mean, it's a reasonable thought. That's such a key card in the matchup a lot of the time that, you know, that and Carriel, even though they're more expensive cards, if you see those, you tend to hold on to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just even without the weapon, the Carriel hero power is just so hard for slower decks to beat, Paladin in the mirror included.
Yeah, like I said, when they got the Carriel down first, I was really worried just because of hero power. Let alone the destruction of the weapon, which I got lucky with, like I said, because Vipers. Yeah.
So now with that win, obviously a very solid win with the sweep, you get your Teenage Mighty Ninja Squirtles, tongue twister for me, back to an 8-7 series here. So you're very much in this week, looking to go 2-0. You went 2-0 personally on the season here. Your team looking to go 2-0 on the season overall. How do we feel about the remaining 2 matches? You've got Turtle on your side playing against Nice Jewish Owl, and Wild 9 playing against Alien Standard. Those are the 1 and the 2 matchups here. How are you feeling about your teammates' chances here the remainder of the week?
I'm feeling pretty confident. You can tell that we all kind of decided on what decks we like. They're all very similar.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I think that we brought good decks. I see Owl brought some interesting decks, including Warlock.
That is an Owl special, doing interesting things.
Yes. So I very much believe in my team to go ahead and run good decks, go ahead and win this week.
Well, how similar can your decks be, though? We saw the Paladin for 3 games, and Elise didn't show up once, so maybe you were just unlucky?
Yeah, that was last week in Legacy.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe Turtle will do it again.
Maybe Turtle will do it.
Yeah. But yeah, it should be a good rest of the series. And like you said, it's tight. And yeah, you've got good players on your side, though, so anything can happen.
Yeah, I believe in my team. They got this.
Always good to believe in your team. Always good to believe in yourself. The comeback there to clutch out the sweep here to get your team back in the match. Because even if you win 3-2, that's still a pretty strong position for F2L. The sweep really makes this an exciting week for you guys. So congratulations on that, and thank you, of course, for playing on stream tonight.
Of course, thank you.
All right. Well, Dankestad, thank you for casting with me this evening, and thanks to all of our players for playing, of course. And hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. We had 2 quality series, 2, I love Hero Series, always very, very high-powered matches, competitive teams, competitive games. I don't think it gets enough love on stream, so glad to feature 2 hero matches tonight. But we will be back tomorrow. We as in THL, not myself and Dankestad. We are not the Salty Saturday co-hosts here. That will be Wild Nine's show tomorrow evening, and I'm just looking up and see what matches we have for you. I think there's 3 of them if I recall correctly. It is. You got 2 more hero matches. We got Bone Masher versus Bassoon Buffoon. That starts kicking off at 8 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. we'll have a legacy match, Eternal versus Kodamora. And then 10 p.m., hey, Pokemon, it's your teammate, Turtle versus Nice Jewish Owl. So we will get to see a little bit more of this series if you tune in tomorrow night for Salty Saturday. So that's going to do it for us here. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks again to everyone playing on stream for us. Good luck in the rest of your matches, and we will see you next Friday. Have a good night,
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you.